Good afternoon, everyone. It is Monday, the 4th of November. November, right? Can you believe it? Where has the year gone? Well, into the past. The past has already happened. The future doesn't exist. Something like that. Vague, don't hug me, I'm scared references. Always the best kind. Always the best kind. I only watched them again the other day. Just very clearly didn't sink in. There's supposed to be a new part to that soon. There's like 6 episodes, I think, of that series. There's apparently supposed to be a 7th at some point. I'm previewing like this 30-minute long film at a film festival. I've been led to believe. Whether or not that's true, I couldn't tell you. Anyway, hope everyone's doing alright. I am not too bad. Last week is out of the way and done. It was a tough week. As I said in the previous vlog, which obviously didn't go out last week, it was the week before last. Last week I had a funeral, and it was, as funerals are, it was a difficult day. But it is done with now. We can all move on, and yeah, just keep on keeping on. Today I have work later on, and that's pretty much it. I think I'm off tomorrow and Wednesday. Yes, I am. Oh, closing all week. That's not too bad. I do the rotas, so I guess I was being kind to myself this week. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I'm off to tomorrow and Wednesday. Let's see if there's something I can do, or at least go somewhere or whatever. Halloween, nothing much to say. Halloween wasn't really an event. I don't really like Halloween. I think Halloween's just a waste of a holiday, really. Or say holiday, you know what I mean, like a public occasion. It's just, I think Halloween's relatively pointless. Like, it's fine, I guess, for kids and stuff, but there's no real point to it here in the UK, I don't think. Like, you have, in Mexico, Halloween is whatever it's called, Dios de Muerta, or something like that. Translates to Day of the Dead. And I think they have a similar thing in Hungary as well, one of my friends was telling me, which is fine. There's a point to having Halloween out there because they use those days as a day to remember the dead and all that sort of thing. It makes sense. Whereas, like, here in the UK and the US, like, really, there's no point to Halloween. It's just an occasion for kids to go out and beg for sweets, and for people to just not even dress up as Halloween, there's like scary things anymore. You know, superheroes. When did superheroes become Halloween? It just makes no sense. The one good thing that Halloween did spawn, though, is that the classic PS1 game Medieval was remastered. And if that's going to come to Steam at some point, I am totally on board with that. Medieval was a sensational game for the PS1, and I'll definitely be on that. As well as Spyro, when it's been patched and goes on sale. I've got Crash already. I'm enjoying the fact that loads of old video games are being remastered, because the games were amazing, and so far they've been doing brilliant jobs of remastering them. I was always kind of against remasters. I was like, what's the point? But that was kind of referring to things like where The Last of Us came out, and then a couple of years later The Last of Us Remastered came out, and I was like, surely things haven't progressed that far in that length of time. Realistically, you could have just made it that good the first time round, surely. But I think there's probably a bit of merit behind remastering video games from days gone by, because you are able now to, like, when Medieval was released in '98, so 21 years worth of video game advancements and technological improvements mean that the game probably could do with a remaster. And from what I see, it's actually been pretty sensational. I think the only real complaints people have had is that it's lost a little bit of its charm. Now it looks too polished. And the videos I've seen, I could probably agree with that. It looks like it's lost a lot of its kind of spooky, goofy atmosphere from when the game was first released, and now it's just nice and polished and doesn't have the kind of goofy spookiness that it had. But I don't know. I'll have to play it at some point and see. Good morning, everybody. How are we? Hope everyone is all right. It is the... No, I don't remember what day it is. It's not important. I'm 90% sure that I make that joke every single year. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing alright. I have a day off today, except that I don't. I'm actually going to go into work a little bit later. I've got some stuff that I need to catch up on. I am responsible for organising Christmas at the pub this year and making sure that everything runs nice and smoothly. Today is a day that I had set aside to go and do a load of catch up on all of our bookings and reservations and stuff like that. There's also some rota work that needs to be done. I need to make sure that everyone knows what shifts they're doing. So I'm going to go into work and spend a little bit of time taking care of that. But that's not going to be until later. I've got a little bit of time this morning before I need to start worrying about that. And also it's voluntary, so it's not like I have... Pick you up carefully. It's not like I have an actual time where I need to be in for work to do this sort of stuff. It's all... it's just voluntary, so I can go in and do it any time that I wish. So I'm going to spend a bit of time this morning recording a couple of more episodes of Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. We're nearly finished with that now, which is good. It means I can move on to the next thing. I'm not quite sure what it will be. Maybe I was talking about Crash yesterday. Maybe I should do that, or look into Spyro or something. I don't know. We shall see. And maybe, just maybe, a little bit of drumming as well. That should take me nicely up until... Where are we now? We're coming up to 10 o'clock. That should take me nicely up until midday. And then I can shower and stuff, and then get ready to go to work. I can leave here at about 1, get to work for 2, do an hour work, then Ben and I can go out for lunch at 3. That's fine. Plenty of time. The day is all planned out, which is wonderful. But that would assume that I stop making the vlog now and go upstairs and start making Indiana Jones, like, now. It's Wednesday the 6th of November, and I hope, as per usual, you are alright, as I have done for every single day that I make these. I am really tired, apparently. I went to bed around 10 o'clock last night, which is a relatively early night for me, I suppose, and I woke up about 10 minutes ago. It's now 20 to 10. Woke up at 9:30. And I think I had a relatively unbroken sleep as well, which is really unusual. It wasn't totally unbroken. Did wake up a couple of times. But yeah, that's really unusual to have gotten nearly 12 hours. I must have been tired. I mean, I am tired. I know I'm tired. I feel tired all the time. But like, it's unusual for me to actually catch up on sleep, which is, you know, it's great. It's a good thing that I did. I know I had a broken sleep because I remember waking up from a dream, and the dream was rather odd. It was set in a Minecraft world, and I know that because I remember finding 2 surface dungeons in it. Don't judge, okay? But also, I was sharing that Minecraft world with Johnny Vegas, and he was I seem to remember that he was quite upset with the way that we were going around exploring the world. I don't know why. I haven't played Minecraft in a few days. I've not seen Johnny Vegas for a long time. Johnny Vegas is a stand-up comedian. I've not seen anything to do with Johnny Vegas for quite some time, so I have no idea where that came from. But there we go. Good morning, everyone. It is Friday the 8th of November, and for some reason my hair has decided to do this today. I hope everyone is alright. I am fine, thank you. This morning I am going to do some cooking. I'm gonna have a go at making poutine, which is, for those who are unaware, over here in the UK we call it cheesy chips and gravy, but in Canada it's chips with this really, really nice rich gravy and cheese curds, which then melt just a little bit on top of the chips and covered in gravy, and then when you bite into them it gives you like this nice satisfying squeak. You can't really find cheese curds over here in the UK without going to a special cheese shop, and I have absolutely no idea where a fromagerie, as I think they're known, is, so I'm just going to use mozzarella because the recipe says mozzarella is probably the next best thing. And what have I got here? Potatoes that went out 2 months ago. They'll still be safe, right? They still feel alright, they still look alright, I'm sure it'll be fine. First things first though, is that I'm going to make the chips. Like, I'm doing this all from scratch. I've got a bag of King Edward's. Is it King Edward's that I need? That's what I bought, right? Yeah, King Edward's. Yeah, King Edward's. I recommend using a floury kind of potato. You leave the skin on. So that's what I've got. I've got a bunch of King Edward potatoes here. You might be able to tell me, do these look fine? I mean, like, you're not going to be able to do anything about it. If they look fine, then that's fine. If they don't, I mean, you can tell me that they won't look fine, but it would be far too late for me to do anything about it. Oh, you're all slanted. Go that way a bit. There we are. So yeah, first of all, I'm going to make some chips. Another problem is that I don't have baking paper. I'm assuming that tinfoil does this more or less the same sort of job. Is that going to be okay? I think it'll be fine. The knife is fine. It might be a little bit to be desired. I mean, these are chip-ish shapes, right? I mean, what they do? I don't really know. Let's go down one more like that, I think. Would you watch a cooking show with me presenting it? Like, you know, it wouldn't be much different than this, I suppose, where I just have a camera set up and cook food and talk into it. I don't know. What do you reckon? You'd watch one, right? Stunned silence. Crickets chirp in the distance. A little kid goes to raise its hand. Its parents just put a hand on the kid's shoulder and shake their head at it. The kid slowly retracts its hand. No one going to watch a cooking show with me. That'll probably do. That'll probably do for an initial test run of chips. I'll have to put those back in, put those in a bag or something. Right, they just need to boil. Cold water, a little bit of salt, reduces the boiling temperature, I think. And stick a lid on, that'll keep the heat in nicely. Those will boil up, hopefully, and then we can begin working on everything else. Whilst they're boiling, start with something else, the red onion. I do like red onions. I couldn't eat a red onion like an apple because that would be absurd. But peppers, you could eat peppers like apples. They're very nice. top and tail the red onion, because once you do that you'll find the skin will come off, in theory, much easier than were you to just try and do it without. Cutting the onion breaks the skin up a bit, and then you can just get that off much easier. It said 1 large red onion. This looked like a fairly substantial red onion, but I'm not really sure on the kind of serving size for this, so I'm probably going to end up with a ton of gravy and just nowhere to really do with it. All you people who cook loads at home are probably watching this at the moment and going, oh god, how ungainly is this? Like, what I'm about to do for these red onions now. Oh yeah, predictably, it just went everywhere. I mean, finely chopped, yes, but like, we're going to saute these in a moment anyway. So. Oh, the potatoes are bubbling over, I can hear them. Pause for just one moment. The potatoes are at what I would call bubbling boil, which means that we can turn the heat off and just leave them to do their thing. We just leave them there for like another 3 minutes or so. It gives me enough time to finish doing the red onion. Lastly, for this, need some garlic. Tried and tested method of breaking through the skin and absolutely decimating the garlic in the process. Whoops. This is quite a substantial clove of garlic as well, so let's just get that all nicely. Oh no, I've done so well without like the onions. I've done really well. Normally onions don't matter to me too much. I can chop onions without getting too tearful, but occasionally they do just get right on in there. Alright, the potatoes have been sat for a little while, which means that now we need to drain them, and I'm going to try and do this ever so properly. There we are. They can sit like that. Oof, got a bit steamy there. They can sit like that, and whilst they do that, they're going to just be run over in cold water. And while they do that, I'm just going to double check in on the recipe. So I've got the red onions and garlic just sauteing in there for the time being. It smells very nice. Recipe then recommends pouring, once the potatoes have been washed and drained, pouring them out onto like some kitchen paper and then just patting them dry. For some reason, apparently that helps to make them nice and crispy, so that's what I'm gonna do. Having said that, I don't feel like crispy really matters because they're gonna get covered in gravy and go soggy anyway, but maybe it kind of helps to, I don't know, retain the gravy or something like that. Some of them are broken up a little bit, but whatever. I think this, where they're part boiled, I think the technical name for that is blanching, but I don't know enough about cooking, I'm afraid to say. It also recommends that when you bake chips you want to try and leave as much space between them as possible, because that helps them to actually cook better and not go soggy. So I'm going to give that a stab as well. Admittedly there isn't much space, but I'm sure it'll do the job. And then you want to cover, it says in spray oil, but I think it's because the website itself is like a kind of healthy eating website sort of thing, and spray oil just is supposedly healthier or something like that. So I shall use spray oil because I have it. I'm not sure how much to use, but we'll just go for that much. That feels about right. And then we can put those in the oven. It says it shouldn't take longer than 45 minutes. So I'm just going to put them in for like 20 for now. We'll take them out, turn them halfway through, and see how things are after that. Now it says to add stock. I am going to cheat because I have no idea how to actually make stock, so I'm just going to use this stuff that we have in the cupboard. This one going in is a beef stock, at least I think that's supposed to be a cow. It also looks a little bit like a dog, so hopefully it's beef and not dog stock, but there we go. So I'm just going to add that in there. It says to have chicken stock as well. I figure how bad can it be to just add both of them to the same load of water? You know, it's all going to go to the same place anyway. Ooh, that does not fill me with happiness looking at that. Certainly does not. Probably should have been hot water. Maybe it should have been hot water and they would have dissolved a bit. They would have mixed in a bit better. Probably should have been hot. Never mind, it will get to be hot because we're going to add it to the... Oh yeah, that... Uh-oh. It was all going so well. So here's what I'm going to do. Literally just going to pour it all in, because we have to do that at some point anyway. Just going to pour it all in there and stir it around and mix it all in that way, because that doesn't look good. What I'm beginning to notice is that our kitchen here has a lot of good places for like tripods and stuff. So that all gets added in to the garlic and red onion. Crack some black pepper in there, a little bit of kick, add some tomato puree. Let's go for a tablespoon's worth. That looks good. Plop that in. And I also need to add some Worcestershire sauce. Here we go. This apparently has 10 servings in it, this bottle. I mean, is that enough? Is that enough Worcester sauce? I don't know. I don't really know what Worcester sauce tastes like, to be honest. Oh, it doesn't smell good. Deary me, no. So, now we're just gonna try and get this looking a little bit more gravy-like. And in fairness, a little bit of stirring later, and actually it's kind of done alright. It looks more gravy-like now, which is certainly good. I'm just trying to make sure that all of the stock stuff has kind of gone in. Right, look, that's more gravy-y now. Just a little bit watery. I've got to go out later to hopefully go and give blood. I've got an appointment to give blood at about 2:30, and I say hopefully because this. You are not allowed to give blood if you have had a tattoo or piercing or skin modification, permanent cosmetic surgery, any kind of body modification. You're not allowed to go and give blood for 4 months after you've had it done. I had my tattoo done in August. We're in November now, which makes it 3 months. So I don't know if I will be able to give or not. In my mind, I'm like, well, I may as well go along anyway and see, because I might be able to. You know, it's 3 months, we're over the hill, it's healed nicely. Excuse me. So I may actually be able to give. And the way I look at it is that it's probably better for me to go and be told, sorry, you can't give, than to just not go at all. Because at least if I go, then there's the chance that I might be able to donate. So that is what I am going to do. However, It's just gone 12 o'clock, so I need to get this made, eaten, and then go. Gravy is boiling, which means it's time to turn the heat down and leave it to simmer for 30 minutes. The chips have got another 3 minutes of their first cycle. Whew. All is well. Could probably start preparing the mozzarella soon, but I'll deal with that in a little while. Exciting! I think we're beginning to get there. However, definitely see why we now needed baking paper, but never mind. Look, okay, if you wanted things done professionally, then you would watch an actual cooking channel. I am not an actual cooking channel, therefore I don't do things properly. I look at the recipe and go, how important can that be? Crack on with it, and then halfway through cooking realise that actually, yeah, it was kind of important. So we're a bit more chip-like now, which is good. However, I don't think I did enough now. But we shall see how it goes. I'm going to leave them in there whilst I finish off the gravy. I'm going to blend it now so that it hopefully thickens up a little bit. And then just need to stick it back on the hob and keep it stirring for a little while, just so it sort of really thickens up and goes nice. So we shall see how things are in a little while. Apparently, I don't know how our food processor goes together. Gravy has been blended and is now just a little bit thicker. We're going to leave it on there for a while longer to hopefully thicken out more. Tastes really nice though. And the chips are more or less taken care of. In fact, they are pretty much taken care of, which means that now all that we have left is mozzarella. Ooh, I don't like this. Oh, I mean, I'm not a cheese person. I don't like cheese all that much. This doesn't feel very nice. It's going to tear it up into little bits and pieces, and then this can just go on top and in amongst the chips and gravy when it's ready to be served, which will be shortly. And then that gives me plenty of time to then brush my teeth and then get into town so that I can go and give blood. All in all, not too bad. The process itself, I think, has gone pretty well. There's a couple of wrinkles that I need to iron out. So obviously you need baking paper. Need a little bit less water for the stock. I think it's probably a bit too much water, which is why it's not quite so thick yet. And then definitely going to need to do more potatoes on the weekend. Oh, look at that. I think that'll probably be enough cheese for this portion. I'm hoping, against hope, that this is going to be nice. Dear me. Cool. I'm going to wrap up the mozzarella nice and tight so that doesn't dry out, and then I think we'll be there, good to go. Here we have the bowl. It's empty at the moment because I have nothing to poutine there. Look, that is one of the best jokes I have ever made up, okay? Not best because it's good, but best because it's obscure. My old boss asked me, we used to serve poutine on our menu, and we were trying to push the sale of poutine one day, and my old boss said, on the board outside, write a joke about poutine. And I was like, yeah, sure, I've got a whole heap of poutine jokes locked away in my brain, I'll take care of that. Anyway, I spent ages trying to think of a joke. I spent ages Googling poutine jokes. There was nothing. Everything I could think of revolved around Russian President Vladimir Putin. And I was like, I don't really want to put anything about that because I don't want to annoy the Russians. The only other thing I had was poutine, something the Canadians don't have to apologise for, which is fine, but again, I didn't really want to risk upsetting anyone. And I was all about to give up. And then I was like, oh, I can't think of anything to put on the board. So all I wrote on the board was, my boss asked me to come up with a joke about chips, cheese and gravy, but I couldn't think of anything to poutine there. First things first is you want to go for the chips, and they are looking good and crispy now. Let's go for one of these big ones, because if the big one's cooked, then the rest certainly will be. Oh. Wasn't that crispy. Never mind, the other ones look good. It is at least cooked and edible, which is what's important. There we go, we got some chips, just laying down some mozzarella on there as well. And now for the pièce de résistance. Just add some gravy. And that'll do. I mean, it looks like poutine. It looks like poutine. I've got a lot of gravy left. Not a lot of chips nor mozzarella left, but it does at least look like poutine, which is good. Whether or not it tastes like it remains to be seen, but fingers crossed. I am kind of excited. So this is how it's supposed to look. Close enough. It's close enough. Oh, let's see. It's very nice. For next time, potatoes need to be cooked longer, less water for the gravy, more mozzarella. Other than that, pretty dang alright. That's gonna just about do it for today. I'm gonna go and attempt to give blood. Wish me luck, because there we are. Because as I've said, I don't know whether or not I will actually be able to today, so we shall see. And then I'm gonna go to work. So that takes care of the day. Poutine, nowhere near as delicious as the actual legitimate Canadian poutine made with cheese curds and made properly, but for a first attempt, definitely not too bad. I think there's some work to be done. I'm glad I did a dry run, but otherwise not too bad. Could have gone a lot worse. Anyway, shall see you next time. Bye bye.